hell of a, she's so fine. Hell of a, blows my mind. Hell of a, lights my day.
What's good, guys? This is going to be part 4 in the Kenneka Jenkins case, as told by Yo Stay Woke on Instagram. Just the various posts that they've put up. This post is from May 23rd, 2018. And I will zoom in so that you can see it a little bit better and move it around a little bit. It says, St. Matthew 5:9. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. United in Peace, Inc. The bottom, it says, for the uplifting of fallen humanity and the salvation of our children. This is the uniting of the human family, founded in 1993 AD. Over on the left, it says fraternal. Over on the right, it says unity. And this is the caption. It says, a person that follows this page sent me this. Person says it's gangs and Freemasons running the mentioned organizations, represented by logos and photo. Goes on with the same captions as before. I'll read it this first time and then I won't read these again. I keep putting same caption for every post because I have some new followers. Click on my Instagram for additional information. Kenneka Jenkins is the name of a character played by at least 3 different black girls. I don't think her real name is Kenneka Jenkins because she's not listed in the U.S. Social Security Death Index. And I covered that in one of these previous videos as to why she may not be listed there. The so-called Kenneka Jenkins was killed by them in March of 2017, not September of 2017. Even the funeral home that had KJ's body didn't list a funeral date for her on September the 30th, 2017, the way they do for other deceased on their website. Goes through a whole slew of hashtags. Now, I do want to talk about this funeral home thing. And I've talked about this before in several other videos. Chicago doesn't do it like everybody else. A lot of people don't do it like we do it here. It's just, it's all kind of a regional thing. But we all saw the funeral. We've seen the videos from the funeral. We know the funeral home that's involved. We've seen the pamphlet from the funeral. So let's just not even go there. But anywho. So this has a couple of comments. It says, what is the Instagram this is from? Talking about this picture that I showed. She replies, or he or she replies, I think it's a female. The person that sent me this requested to be anonymous. It's not on their Instagram. And the person says, okay, thanks though. So apparently it's on an individual's Instagram and not on an organization's Instagram, is what I'm gathering from that. Because I think the person probably was looking for a place that she could go to look at that and look at the information that they had posted there. But this came from an individual, so she wasn't going to give up the person that had sent her that. Which is cool. Alright, moving on. This is the next post from Mike Tate. It says it's from March the 21st at 11:53 p.m. If you ever in that room and you talk, you a cop. Now, 100. I think anybody that's been on the scene for any length of time has seen this. Let's read what the post says. Caption. It says, Michael Douglas, a.k.a. Mike, a.k.a. Tate, a.k.a. Bibby, talking about the Crown Plaza hotel room where a KJ Eugene Walker, aka Gina Lopez, and other victims were murdered. He was involved. Just flat out, he was involved, it says. And then back to the same captions as before. So, you can tell by the way they've worded that Crown Plaza hotel room party where a Kenneka Jenkins, Eugene, I think it's supposed to be Eugenia Walker, aka Gina Lopez, and other victims were murdered. He was involved. That's a lot of pretty definite statements there for some stuff that is based on opinion. There's one comment. This person says, I definitely think he meant interrogation room, hun. Alright. On this next post, which is from May 23rd, 2018. I'm going to read the caption first. Lenore Harris was at the Crown Plaza hotel room. That's a very definite statement. Doesn't say, in my opinion, Lenore Harris was at the Crown Plaza hotel room. Left the party and came back with Teresa Martin pretending to look for a Kenneka Jenkins. Alright. Now, here's the post. She has Smiley circled and is claiming that's Lenore. Nothing circled there. Again, Smiley. Oh, there's Smiley again. That is Lenore. And that is Lenore in the middle with her sleeping cap on. There's Lenore in the far right corner. And there's Teresa running with Lenore behind her in tow. This is when they left her outside the hotel for hours and hours, and then called her in to finally tell her that her daughter was found in the freezer. But she didn't show no emotion, though. And again, that's Lenore in the center there. Now this one has 6 comments. First comment, shaking my damn head. Next one, how could Lenore pretend to be looking for KJ when at this time of the party, they didn't know she was missing yet? Sorry, I can't help it. Clearly, you can see Lenore in the bathroom, and the girl standing right there is what we see on TY's live. And KJ wasn't missing yet, but this is the first time seeing Lenore there. Next person. Same shape and height, same black pants. And the last comment just says, wow. This 313.melly says wow a lot. That must be something that they just go around commenting wow on everything. Alright. Alright. This next post is going to be a little lengthy. It's a post from Sherry Schreiner on October the 26th, 2017 at 11:22 p.m. Try to make this a little bit bigger. The psyop of 2 Kenneka Jenkins. This is what I've compiled so far in a nutshell as I wade through conversations, interviews, and videos. This is my opinion based on my own conclusions. I have to give her credit for that because at least she's stating that this is her opinion. One was killed at home by her sister, Kenneka Harris, however you spell her name, and her mother, Teresa, while James Coleman took the video. An ambulance arrived to take the unconscious or dead Kenneka to the hospital so her organs could be harvested. Selena Gomez gets a kidney that very same week in Chicago. Teresa had talked to Selena for 4 months earlier. This was a pre-planned, quote, sacrifice, end quote, for Teresa. So it was recorded on Kay's phone, which is why they wouldn't release her phone. The elites wanted proof of her death, so the death was recorded. Teresa, sorry I have to move my finger, guys, will now get her fame and fortune for the accepted sacrifice by the elites. The next conclusion she came up with, it says the elites accepted the death of Kenneka as a sacrifice because she was a gifted healer. Teresa, move my hand again, was a member of the Eastern Stars and already involved with the elite members of the circles in Chicago. To go further up the ladder, she needed a sacrifice. Watch her make the media tour of TV shows and come out with a book deal, perhaps. Hasn't happened yet. She'll get the fortune and fame red carpet because she sold her soul to the devil and gave him a blood sacrifice of a gifted healer. Probably why her mother and sister hated her. Kay had, quote, light, end quote. To cover up Kay's murder, this is the third conclusion she's reached, or opinion. To cover up Kay's murder, a party was staged at the Crowne Plaza Hotel to begin a narrative that Kay gets drunk at the party and wanders through the halls and ends up in a freezer at the hotel. Next opinion. The police admit the videos shown to the public are just reenactments of what could have happened. Thus, they are fake. And people still spend time going through those videos trying to point out all the oddities and video cuts and edits. Give it a break, people. The police already admitted the videos were fake reenactments. I'd like to see where that was done. In writing, rather. Next opinion. The death photos released are also just reenactments of what could have been her in the freezer. If it was. And it wasn't. The face on the body is that of Kay's best friend, Zari Walls. The person in the freezer isn't dead. Dead people don't bleed. And there's... Sorry, guys. I couldn't. Dead people don't bleed. And there's smeared blood on the floor and door. Also, her lips are red, showing oxygen in the blood. If you look closely at Kay and Zari, it's obviously Zari's face in those photos, with a photoshopped body of Kay, perhaps. Can we just talk about this for a second? Dead people don't bleed. So when you're involved in an accident where the skin is punctured and you die as a result of that accident, does the blood just disappear? Come on with the jokes now. The boys at the party came unexpectedly. No one knew them. I'm so sorry. The main leader of them was Ty Rowland. Ty Rowland is Carl Nesbitt's son. Let me move my finger, guys. Carl Nesbitt is also the father of Sasha and Malia Obama. Rowland showed up with his gang boys because they heard Irene was there. I'm sorry, I read another line, sorry. Rowland showed up with his gang boys because they heard Irene was having a party at the hotel and Kay was going to be there. They wanted gang retaliation against Kay because of her brother who killed Corey Williams, one of their gang members. As far as Kay's brother, already one of them was dead and one in prison. They couldn't get to her brother in prison, so they took the gang retaliation out on Kay. Lord. Next opinion. They got Kay away from her friends and accidentally killed her while raping her. What they didn't know was, next slide here. Let's see what they didn't know. Well, that it wasn't the real Kay. It was a fake one playing Kay for reenactments to hide the real Kay's death. Next opinion. In many of the videos, you hear there are two girls. I believe she's talking about when Bru says that about the two girls. So everyone assumes two girls raped that night, or even killed. But the other one's death has never been made known. No one knows who this other girl is because it was the fake Kay. And they assume it was the real Kay. And this is why there are so many variations, videos, and webs to this part of the story of the party at the hotel and Kay's death. It was the fake one that was killed there and then covered up, while the real Kay was killed at home and her organs harvested at the hospital several days later. This was a huge psyop that took many months to plan, using crisis actors from several states to organize the parties, act as hotel personnel, etc. Alright, so the top portion shows Kenneka Jenkins. The bottom two, and you can see it's so convenient how she picked a picture of Zari with a denim jacket on. So she's saying that the person in the freezer was Zari. And that's her conclusion based on these two photos. Alright? And I mean, why wouldn't she show Zari in a denim jacket if she's trying to prove her point? Alright? This is the last post on this one. It says, this is the girl they found in the freezer that they claim is Kenneka, but it's not. It's Zari Walls playing Kenneka. Alright. Now let's look at the comments. There's several comments on this one, as you can imagine. Yo Stay Woke says, I agree with most of what Sherry Shriner, rest in peace, again, she's not deceased, said. When she says Lakeisha, she means Lenore. The real Kenneka, or whatever her name is, probably stashed somewhere outside of Illinois. However, I still believe several people died because of them. Unfortunately, Sherry Shriner was murdered for exposing Freemasons and Eastern Stars from different industries. Well, that's news to me. And I'm sorry, but if you go to the trouble of looking all that stuff up, I mean, you're going to get the name right. It says when she says Lakeisha, she means Lenore. Those are two very different names. That's just a little off to me. Alright, let's get to these comments. First one says, wow. Second one, finally some insight to this sad situation. Wow. Next one, wow. And this was early on. So she was killed, oh my gosh. Next one, I agree. Next one, pause. So Obama girls are not really his. Yo Stay Woke says, apparently, they look more like the Nesbitts, who are Obama's best friends. Next person says, I thought the girl's father was Carl's brother, Martin Nesbitt kids. He is supposed to be the one that's close to the Obamas. Called her out on it. Yo Stay Woke says, yes, you right too. I didn't get specific because I mentioned in a previous post that Carl Nesbitt is related to Martin Nesbitt, who is Obama's best friend. Next post from Yo Stay Woke. Sherry mixed up the names there, but in her videos, she corrected herself by saying same thing you said. Here's this 313.Melly again. Yo Stay Woke. Been heard this story. Just like Michelle is really a man. Nothing surprises me anymore. Lord have mercy. Next comment. Wow, that girl in the freezer really does look like Zari Walls. Why did they need to cover KJ's death of her mom? Was it on it? Surely they couldn't have just let her be missing. Or did they have to reenact it to get media attention so she could get fame? That's the part I don't understand. If they are so secretive, surely they wouldn't want people scrutinizing details like this. It would want it kept out of the spotlight. And there's several comments to that. Replies to that. Yost Awoke says, they weren't expecting that type of attention because they have got away with these type of activities in the past. Somebody else says, so Sherry's dead? Yost Awoke says, yes, unfortunately, Sherry is dead. Next comment. How do we know that she died? She was the leader of an alternative religion. Right, and called herself the daughter of the Most High or something. I watched some videos of Tory Smith's about trafficking. He doesn't specifically mention Kenneka's case, but it was said in the comments by people and by Sherry that he died too. In his last video, he was so weak. I don't know. It seems like a lot of conspiracy theories, but also may have some segments of truth in it. Next person says, huh? Talking to Yost Awoke. Shaking my head. What happened to her? Exposing, huh? Yost Awoke says, I didn't agree with everything Sherry said, but I know for sure that Sherry was a targeted individual. They tried to ruin her name with the BS you mentioned, leader of an alternative religion. When that didn't work, they tried to murder her since she left the Hollywood industry because she was exposing the U.S. government and Hollywood, aka the Freemasons and Eastern Stars. The government had been trying to murder Sherry for years because she was exposing the government and Hollywood. Nothing wrong with someone calling herself or himself the daughter or son of the Most High, because Most High is another word for God, aka creator of all living. If they aren't a clone, because clones aren't human and not God's creations. When you expose the U.S. government and Hollywood, they'll go out of their way to say anything to discredit you, including what they said about Sherry, because they are desperate. Everything Sherry said about the U.S. government, Hollywood, high-profile politicians, entertainers, famous athletes, has come to pass. Some celebrities have finally got the guts to say what's happening, and they confirmed what Sherry Shriner said. I know this because I started listening to Sherry Shriner in 2012. Sherry loved educating everyone about what the Freemasons and Eastern Stars are doing by posting videos on her YouTube because they are against us humanity. Sherry Shriner is deceased because they murdered her. Yost Awoke comments again and says, Sherry Shriner always said if she turns up dead, it means the U.S. government murdered her. The U.S. government, aka CIA, runs both the government and Hollywood industry. Sherry was murdered for exposing the government and Hollywood, aka the high-level Freemasons and Eastern Stars. This girl replies back to her and says, I'm hip to Shriner. Hip to all the government BS. Shaking my head. Just didn't know they killed her. Love her channels. She was the truth. Alright. In my opinion, there ain't but one truth, and that's Paul Pierce. But back to the post. Here is the next post. And this is from May 23rd, 2018 again. This one says, all this started with Carl Nesbitt. James Coleman and Carl Nesbitt are best friends. If Teresa Martin didn't get involved with James Coleman, everything that went down wouldn't have happened. James Coleman is the father figure that Kelly Sabatino is talking about because he's the connection to Carl Nesbitt. Carl Nesbitt and James Coleman are high-level Freemasons who are connected to all the people involved in the deaths and cover-up. Whatever they did benefited all those involved. I'm still looking out for what Kelly Sabatino said. To see what Kelly said, watch the 2 videos by her on this Instagram, which we're not going to do. And if you want to do that, you are free to go and look her up. Now, let's see these post. So Yo Stay Woke captions this and says, "This is what happens when people join the wrong organizations or date the wrong people. It affects the entire family." Alright, there's 4 comments. First one. "Hey, my name is Sharita. I have a group on Facebook. If you don't mind, can I share this to my group? I won't show your name." Yo Stay Woke says, "Hi Sharita, I don't mind you sharing this and my name to your group." That woman comes back and says, "Talking about Tiffany Draper and thank you so very much. My group is called..." I don't understand what she's saying. "Talking about Tiffany Draper and thank you so very much. My group is called... I'll send you the thing if you want to come in. It's like, it's no drama in there, you know, at all." And the next person says, to Yo Stay Woke, "She's not lying. I'm in the group. It's chilled." Alright, on this post, we're going to read the caption first. It says, Part 1. "All this started with Carl Nesbitt. James Coleman and Carl Nesbitt are best friends." We just read this, but I'm going to read it again. "If Teresa Martin didn't get involved with James Coleman, everything that went down would not have happened. James Coleman is the father figure that Kelly Sabatino is talking about because he's the connection to Carl Nesbitt. Carl Nesbitt and James Coleman are high-level Freemasons who are connected to all the people involved in the deaths and cover-up. Whatever they did benefited all those involved. I'm still looking out for what Kelly Sabatino said. To see what Kelly said, watch the 2 videos by her on this Instagram." Alright. And that is a picture of Carl Nesbitt. Alright. That's a picture of James Coleman. That's a picture of Teresa Martin. That's a picture of Monifa Shelton. That's a picture of Irene Roberts. That's a picture of Asia Kimball, also known as JLM Ford, or JLM Ford. And that's the person that was supposedly driving the car that Eugenia Walker was in when they had the motor vehicle accident, and supposedly Eugenia Walker passed away from her injuries in that motor vehicle accident. This is Tiffy, Killa, however you want to call him. His government name, Dorian Hill. It's a bigger image. That's a mugshot. This is a picture of him looking at peas like, "If you don't shut up," when they're on the couch giving Zach TV1, aka Zach Stoner, the interview after the party. Oh, that's Ty Rowland. For those that didn't know, he does have a lazy eye over on the right. It's not really that noticeable in the live, but when you look at his mugshots, it's definitely there. And this is David Friedman. This gentleman right here is not the David Friedman that owns the Crown Plaza, Chicago O'Hare Hotel. This is the David Friedman who was appointed by 45 to be our connection to Israel. But this is not the gentleman that owns F&F Realty, who owns the Crown Plaza Chicago O'Hare. And look who we got here. They're going to throw him in the mix. That's Kenneth Tart. And that's the last photo in this post. Now, there are 12 comments. The first one says, his name on his shirt, and apparently there was a post before this because she looks like she's replying to somebody. But it says his name's on his shirt, Kenneth Tart. Next person, all their asses are involved. 2 little snakes. Even the guy that's the ambassador to Israel, who has nothing to do with the Crown Plaza Chicago O'Hare. Next post. How do I know which Kelly page to follow? Yo Stay Woke says, who is Kelly? You're just talking about her in the post, and now she don't know who Kelly is. That girl says Sabatino, if I'm spelling it correctly. She says, Yo Stay Woke says, her YouTube is Kelly Sabatino. You'll know which Kelly to follow when you see the same video of her speaking on camera that you saw on this Instagram. And that lady replies back and says, thank you. And she replies back again and says, there are several of those. But she never replied back to her. Here is the next post. This is Donald E. Stevens III. He's the Rosemont Public Safety Department police chief. This is the mayor of Rosemont, Bradley Stevens. So we got Donald E. Stevens III and Bradley Stevens. This one says, Mike, a.k.a. Tate, a.k.a. Bibby, a.k.a. Michael Douglas. This is Zari Walls. We just covered her a few posts ago. This is Zach TV1, aka Zach Stoner, who is no longer with us. He was murdered. And look who we have here. Shemaya Winder. And here's Bree. Here's Tanasia Walker. This is Shaniqua Watkins. She is the person that used the fraudulent credit cards to secure the room at the Crown Plaza with Mano. Apparently she's a known swiper in the Chicago area. And I think we all know who that is. And that's the last photo in this post. So let's read the caption. The caption says, Part 2. If I didn't include a name, it means I'm not sure what their real names are. If you know their names, include their names in your comments. All this started with Carl Nesbitt. James Coleman and Carl Nesbitt are best friends. If Teresa Martin didn't get involved with James Coleman, everything that went down wouldn't have happened. James Coleman is the father figure that Kelly Sabatino is talking about because he's the connection to Carl Nesbitt. Carl and James are high-level Freemasons who are connected to all the people involved in the deaths and cover-up. Whatever they did benefited all those involved. I'm still looking out for what Kelly Sabatino said. To see what Kelly said, watch the 2 videos by her on this Instagram. There are 2 comments. The first one is just tagging someone. And then 313.Melly says, yes, Zari was in that freezer playing dead because those for sure, her hands and nails. Look at the shape. Also, they wet her hair to get the crimps out. Shaking my head. As if to say the photo that they used, or that Yo Stay Woke used, of Zari Wells is a photo of her from that night. So this person, 313Melly, just automatically assumed that and said that that's why they wet her hair, was to get them crimps out. Alright. This is part 3. And this is a picture of security at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont. Part 3 says the same thing as the others. If I didn't include a name, it means I'm not sure what their real names are. If you know their names, include their names in your comments. And it goes through the whole Carl and James connection thing. 2 comments on this. First one says, we know who this is from day 1. He left the country right after Kenneka. Next person says, yes, and he was peeking out from behind the wall at the end of the hallway where Kenneka was walking from, and he was seen with a bloody nose and wiping and holding his nose with white tissues. Alright. This is the next post. It's from May the 24th, 2018. That's a picture of peas. Alright. He's the other half of the interview on the couch with Zach TV. The caption says, I don't know his names, plural, but I recognize him from Crown Plaza Hotel footage. Some people are saying where I circled is blood spatter. All this started with Carl Nesbitt. James and Carl are best friends. She goes through that whole thing again. 6 comments. First comment. Peasy. Next comment. Peasy, he was the one with the red hat on backwards, I think. Yo Stay Woke says it's Tiffy, Killa, who had on the red hat backwards. Scroll down this page to see him wearing it during the Zach TV interview. The Zach TV interview was done after that Crown Plaza hotel room party. Next post. My group is called Are We Close to Seeking Justice for Kenneka? It's 9 members in there. I'll be out of Facebook jail today. Next post. Maybe dirt/mud like Kenneka's pants were dirty. Yo Stay Woke says that's peasy. Alright, this is the next post. And I'm not going to play it because it has someone's voice on it. It's a little snippet of a video. I don't know who that person is, and I'm not going to take that chance. But they're showing pictures of Kenneka and of Lamont's Facebook page. And he is an activist who was, in the beginning of this case, was trying to do a few things. Here's the next. I guess this is a video as well. The post says, the life and beauty of Kenneka speaks for itself, but most importantly, she's still alive. Hashtag Kenneka Jenkins. And that came from his Facebook page. Blow it up a little bit for y'all. And that was posted on his Facebook page on December the 28th. And I know you're not supposed to assume. I know this. But I think he's talking about December the 28th, 2017. Alright. Now let's get to the captions and the comments. Caption reads, "This is one of the reasons I feel the Kenneka most people think is deceased isn't deceased. However, I still feel several people were murdered and or raped because of the people I mentioned in previous posts." 8 comments. Comment number 1. "I've been saying this." Let me read it right. "I've been saying this. I don't believe she passed. I don't even think anyone died that night there. I don't believe anybody died that night. There may have been deaths in that hotel, but not hers." Next person co-signed and said exactly. Next post. "And that post the sister made, please, please, please don't put RIP in front of her name on y'all's shirts. Glad I stuck to my guts from the beginning." Somebody replied back to her and says, "Yes, I checked that out too. In the beginning, at that time, I was like, damn, if she dead, then she's dead, and it shouldn't be a problem putting RIP." Next post. It says, "Been missing your updates. Think I got a bit addicted. Also, when people stop posting, my mind goes left because of all you said about what happened to the whistleblowers." Alright, I think I'm going to end this video here because we're already at almost 45 minutes. Maybe a little over 45 minutes. And I will pick back up in the next video. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it.